Welcome back to Littell's All Surviving. A toxic family requires more than just thick skin and patience. It requires leverage. For 2 weeks, I let my sister Eleanor think she was in control. I let her play her dirty games, cut my power, and try to frame me for a crime I didn't commit. She thought I was just trying to survive until the end of the month. But while she was busy trying to destroy me, I was busy gathering ammunition. The 30-Day Inheritance Trap, Part 3, Chapter 5, Hidden Eyes. Day 15. The atmosphere in the mansion had shifted. After the police incident, Eleanor and Richard were walking on eggshells. The smug smiles were gone, replaced by paranoid whispers in the hallways. They thought they had time to regroup. I didn't give them any. On a rainy Tuesday evening, they left for a charity gala at their exclusive country club. The moment their sleek black car disappeared down the driveway, I went to work. Earlier that week, I had ordered a package to a local post office box. Inside were 6 high-definition micro cameras, no bigger than the button on a shirt. I moved through the empty, silent house like a ghost. I placed one camera behind the antique clock in the main hallway, another in the leaves of a massive potted fern in the living room. But the most important one, I tucked seamlessly into the ornate crystal chandelier hanging directly over the grand dining table. For the next few days, I didn't just watch them, I listened. Sitting in my freezing room in the East Wing, wrapped in a blanket with my laptop glowing in the dark, I saw the masks finally slip. The cameras captured every hushed argument over their morning coffee. The illusion of their perfect, wealthy life began to crumble before my eyes. The bank called again. Richard whispered one morning, rubbing his temples, his face pale. "They're threatening to foreclose on the beach house, Eleanor. The credit cards are maxed out." "Keep your voice down," Eleanor hissed, looking nervously toward the door. "We just need to hold on for 15 more days. Once the 30 days are up and we get the 12 million, we pay off the debts. We just have to make sure he leaves. He has to break." I paused the video. A slow smile crept across my face in the dark. They weren't wealthy. They were drowning. The expensive clothes, the imported cars, the country club memberships. It was all funded by a mountain of toxic debt. They didn't just want the inheritance to be rich. They needed it to survive. I finally understood their desperation. But to crush them completely, I needed more than just a recording of their financial ruin. I needed the root of the rot. Chapter 6, The Forbidden Study. There was one rule my father had strictly enforced while he was alive. A rule Eleanor made sure to remind me of on day one. No one, under any circumstances, was allowed inside Father's private study. It was located at the very end of the West Wing, a heavy, solid oak door with a brass lock. On day 22, at 3 in the morning, the house was dead silent except for the heavy rain beating against the windows. I stood in front of that door. I took a deep breath, pulled out a small leather case of lockpicks, and knelt down. It took me 20 minutes of agonizing, sweat-inducing focus. Finally, click. I pushed the heavy door open. The room smelled exactly as I remembered. Aged leather, expensive scotch, and cold, stale cigar smoke. It felt like my father was still sitting in the shadows, watching me. I closed the blinds, turned on a small pen light, and began to search. I went through the mahogany desk, the filing cabinets, the bookshelves. Nothing, just standard legal documents and old photographs. Then, I noticed a large oil painting of a hunting hound on the back wall. It hung slightly crooked. I stepped closer, gripped the wooden frame, and pulled. It swung open on hidden hinges. Behind it, embedded in the stone wall, was a heavy steel safe. The combination pad was old-school mechanical. I thought about the numbers my father valued most. Not birthdays, not anniversaries. He only cared about his legacy. I spun the dial to the date he found his company. The heavy steel bolts clicked back. The heavy door groaned open. Inside the safe were stacks of thick, leather-bound ledgers and a series of manila folders. I pulled them out and laid them on the desk, shining my flashlight over the pages. My heart stopped. They were bank statements. Transfers from my father's corporate accounts to a series of offshore shell companies. I traced the names following the money trail, and there, at the bottom of dozens of authorization forms, was a signature. It wasn't my father's. It was Eleanor's. For 5 years, she had been systematically embezzling millions of dollars from his company to fund her lavish lifestyle. She was a thief. But the biggest shock was at the very bottom of the safe, a single sealed envelope with my name on it, Elias. I tore it open with trembling hands. It was a handwritten letter from my father, Elias. If you are reading this, you found the strength to break the rules. I always knew Eleanor was stealing from me. She is greedy, and greed makes people weak. I could have sent her to prison, but I chose a different punishment. I created this 30-day trap. I left the $12 million dangling in front of her like meat to a starving dog. The money is yours. The evidence is yours. Do what you must. Destroy her. I folded the letter and put it in my pocket. My father was a tyrant until his dying breath, but he had handed me a loaded gun. I walked out of the study and locked out a door behind me. The $12 million wasn't a gift. It was a test, and I had the bullet that would completely destroy my sister's life. The 30 days were almost up. The final reckoning is here. Don't miss the explosive finale in Part 4. Will Eleanor surrender, or will she burn the house down with us inside? Subscribe, hit the like button, and let me know in the comments. What would you do with that evidence? I am Lay, and the truth will not be silent.